Is it 2024? Yes, but thankfully Dodge didn't get the memo. They're still selling the 2023 Charger because awesome. The Challenger is also blowing donuts, but this unique breed of cars is definitely more badass with 4 doors. So today we set our grinning faces upon the 2023 Dodge Charger. And not just any old Charger, but the obscene, the stupendous, the offensive, and the endlessly customizable Jailbreak model. A sedan that, by the way, makes 807 horsepower. Before we get too far down the road on this final, last, penultimate, no really this is it Dodge Charger, would you kindly click the subscribe button below? Everyone here at the Empty Garage thanks you. Okay, back to words like savage and nightmares, hammerhead and hellish. Dodge's words, not ours. I know many of you watching this video remember the old school Nintendo game Contra and its magical up-up, down-down cheat code. You can think of this Jailbreak edition as the Contra cheat code of the final Dodge Charger. It's like the big bad end guy, except you want to be his friend and smoke tires with him instead of shoot him with lasers, which is almost too easy with over 800 horsepower on tap. Whatever side of the fence you stand on when it comes to discussing Dodge's unique brand of automotive engineering, you can't say it's not impressive. For one thing, this final Charger has been with us in 7th gen form since 2011, which is an eternity in car years. But nobody cares when that aging automobile can be configured into a 4-wheeled tactical nuke of nearly any style you can dream up, and that's what the Jailbreak is all about. Though Dominic Toretto and The Rock have proven you can more or less break stuff out of a jail with a Dodge Charger, looking at you Fast 5, this 2023 Charger Jailbreak is all about cutting the chains on access to previously forbidden features for this car. With the Jailbreak, you can go hog wild with style. But before we get to that, let us bow down for a moment of silence at the temple of the pushrod V8. Not just any V8, but the Hemi, a brand that Dodge has cultivated for decades into what we have today. One of the last of its kind. A big, hairy, American V8 motor that makes all the right noises and stands tall as a permanent middle finger in the face of electrification and small displacement 4-pots. With the 2023 Charger, you can choose from no less than 3 distinct V8s. Yes, there's also a V6, but nobody cares about that. In RT spec, it's a 5.7-liter Hemi, which is not exactly a weakling, with 375 horsepower and 395 pound-feet of torque. Next up is the Scat Pack Special, a 6.4-liter brute that bellows with 485 horsepower and 475 pound-feet of naturally aspirated, torquey rage. But today's Empty Garage episode is about the Charger Jailbreak, a sedan whose full name is actually Charger SRT Hellcat Redeye Widebody Jailbreak. In the history of long, stupid car names, this one is in the top 3, but we forgive Dodge for this absurdity because of what's under the hood. It starts with the supercharged 6.2-liter Hellcat V8, a motor with hollow stem intake valves, sodium-filled exhaust valves, and of course, hemispherical combustion chambers. Mated to the cast iron block are aluminum alloy heads with a supercharger cherry on top. In regular Charger Hellcat spec, this spectacular bit of engineering spins up 717 horsepower and 650 torques. Dodge has managed to normalize figures like this by Hellcatting everything they can think of. But let's stop for a second and acknowledge how crazy that much power is, especially in the hands of the average American driver. And it gets better. Tacking the Redeye name onto a 2023 Charger Hellcat builds on this foundation, which by the way includes dual water-to-air intercoolers and a dual straight-piped 2.75-inch exhaust system with active valves. Redeye models begin their transformation by inhaling up to 1,130 cubic feet of air per minute. They need it because of the beefed-up supercharger that displaces 2.7 liters and spools up to 14.5 psi of boost. Basic Betty Hellcats measure 2.4 liters of displacement and can spin up to 11.6 pounds of boost, for reference. Then you've got an extra fuel pump, a higher redline, tougher connecting rods and pistons, a stouter valve train, more oiling capacity, a 15% stronger drive shaft, and 20% stronger axles. Why? Because the Redeye models are rated for a whopping 797 horsepower and 707 pound-feet of torque. Sweet holy mother. And that's still not all. Our 2023 Jailbreak model gets even more horsepower. Thanks to a revised powertrain calibration, it comes in at 807 horses. 807! All that juice is routed to the rear wheels through an 8-speed automatic beefcake of a transmission that even the Hulk would have trouble smashing. Adaptive Bilstein dampers attempt to keep this angriest of Chargers tight with 3 different settings including track mode. And you know what smells best while burning? Fancy 11-inch wide Pirelli P0 rubber in summer spec that measures 20 inches in diameter. These are serious slabs of vulcanized meat that also work to rein in your jailbreaking ways. However, you can quickly reduce them to ash by simply engaging line lock and standing on the gas. Special high-performance Brembo brakes are on hand when things get out of control, so every waking moment. There are 15.7-inch slotted front rotors clamped by 6 piston calipers, not to mention the 13.8-inch rear units. Altogether, it's a whole lot of performance. Enough for a 3.5-second rocket ride to 60 and an 11.5-second quarter mile in car and driver's hands. And that was for the non-jailbreak model. Dodge says it'll do 203 miles an hour, and we see no reason to disagree. So to review, the 2023 Dodge Charger Jailbreak is a family sedan with intoxicating levels of performance that will turn every stoplight into a drag race. At least for drivers that are male, and like to go fast, and can't stop grinning behind the wheel of a machine like this. In other words, 100% of jailbreak owners. But what about all that forbidden stuff and customizing the car to your heart's content? The more important question is where to begin. Starting on the outside, you can choose from 14 different finishes. There's the usual blacks and grays, but what if you're afraid no one will notice you in your 800 horsepower symbol of male fertility? In that case, we recommend options like the Nuclear Green Sublime, Eye-Searing Orange Go Mango, or Plum Crazy Purple People Eater. Keep in mind, these wide-body Chargers are already bulging at the seams with an extra 3 inches of width courtesy of thick fender flares and an aggressively sculpted hood with all manner of ventilation. But we're just getting warmed up on jailbreak fun. You can choose from 5 different racing stripe colors, or just paint the hood, roof, and trunk black. The 20-inch wheels come in a host of finishes, but Brass Monkey is really the only option. There are 5 choices for brake caliper color, black nickel-finished exhaust tips, and 3 colors to consider for the badging. Now about that badging. Is it a kitty cat from hell? Is it an alien from Ridley Scott's Nightmares? Yes, and yes. It also gets a bejeweled red eyeball because, well, it's the Redeye Hellcat. It looks sharp in satin chrome, but again, who doesn't want the Brass Monkey version? Moving inside, buyers get to swaddle their heavily bolstered front buckets in leather with colors like Demonic Red or Hammerhead Gray. Sepia Brown is also available, but that's not nearly badass enough. Strangely elegant sounding French stitching graces those seats, and the seatbelts themselves are offered in 3 different shades. Need more? How about picking out the floor mat binding color? You can truly go nuts with the 2023 Charger Jailbreak and make it your own. Did we mention there are options for what color the steering wheel logo lights up with? Something you can't change is the red finished speedometer that goes up to 220 miles an hour, and that is just fine by us. This all makes us wonder, what's the best way to spec one of these jailbreak editions? We can tell you that by checking all the option boxes, including the 19-speaker Harman Kardon Mobile Symphony system, that the price tag approaches 110 grand. But what we'd really like to know is, what would yours look like? Tell us in the comments below so we can all fantasize about what it means to drive like your hair's on fire. Which would for sure be the case if we got behind the wheel of the 807 horsepower, last of its kind Charger Hellcat in jailbreak spec. Thanks for watching.